Happy Wednesday, guys. Today's home workout is a quick AMRAP 10 of 5 dual kettlebell deadlifts, 10 alternating single arm kettlebell cleans, then 15 kettlebell swings. So this workout is a lot of kettlebell work, or you can think about it as single arm work, or using just one implement per arm. This workout is not meant to be really towards a very fast-paced workout. I would say this workout is more about skill and strength. So with the dual kettlebell deadlifts there, we're doing 5 reps. If you can find 2 objects that you feel comfortable kettlebell swinging and deadlifting, using for the both movements there, I would use that for the deadlifts and try to use 2 objects if possible. If you don't, you can use a single arm object, hold on to it with both arms and go for your deadlifts. So you're doing 5 deadlifts there. Then we're going into single arm clean. So we're working a little bit of that coordination, that skill of getting the kettlebell in that right spot into our front rack position. And we're going single arm there. Then we're going for the kettlebell swing. So you can hold on to that kettlebell or that object you're using, like a paint can, for your full kettlebell swing. So I would say in this workout, try to aim to finish around every 2 minutes at least, but the intention would be much to go at a very fast pace until as long as you're comfortable with the movements. If you're not really comfortable with the movements, I would say this is more of a skill and a strength style workout. If you are comfortable with the movements, try to push the pace a little bit more and see if you can maybe maintain 90 seconds per round there, which will give you about 6 to 7 rounds done in the 10 minutes. Other than that, guys, the movements here, if you don't have 2 objects, just use 1 object, and again, hold on to that deadlift with both arms. For the single arm kettlebell cleans, again, you can use that single object, and then the kettlebell swings, you can go back to that dual grip. After the workout, guys, we're gonna cool down with stretch, lizard stretch and a Fragging Stretch, so really just trying to open up the hip, open up those hip flexors, a little bit of that groin, the adductors there, especially from the squat or the yesterday's workout and Monday's workout there, just to get you guys a little loosened up. To mention that again, as last week we mentioned on the Saturday, we're not having any more Thursday and Sunday outside the box workouts, but we are providing you guys with some additional programming that you guys can jump on. And I highly recommend you guys do that if you want extra work. Below our WOD posts on our website, you'll find a subscription section where you can sign your name up and sign up for the Yash Train, which will be extra programming that will be provided from me. And you guys can pick and choose any kind of skill, workout, strength, anything from that weekly program to suit your Thursdays or your Sundays. And again, if you miss any workout throughout the week, I highly recommend you guys take that workout and use it on the Thursday or on the Sunday there. Again, if you want to sign up for that, that'll be below the WOD post there. Just sign up your name, put your email in. Again, there's no charge to anything. It's all free for you guys. And I will be sending out the programming every Monday. So you might not get this week's, but you will get next week if you're signing up today or anytime between now and Monday there. Okay, so keep that in mind, guys. Overall, hope you enjoyed today's workout and the afterburner. We'll see you next for the warm-up. All right, guys, so for the warm-up today, we're going to start off with some joint mobility, starting with 3 thoracic, anterior and posterior glides. We're going to do this all from the floor. So we're going to come down into that quadruped position there. Knees, hands on the floor. We're going to focus mainly from the mid-spine here and on. So we're not really focused on the lower back. Make sure that's not moving as we're doing the movement. We're really trying to focus on the spine, mid-spine and up as we do this. What we're going to do, arms straight, back nice and flat as best you can. Then we're going to round your back from that upper spine area as much as we can, trying to open up those joints at the top. Then we're going to think about pushing them back together as we push our chest down to the floor. We're going to go through 3 reps here. Really take your time in each position, feel it out as you do this, guys. Once you're done those 3, thoracic glides. We're going to go into 3 hip rotations from the same position. So you're going to lift one leg up, straight leg, a little bit out to the side, and we're going to draw a small circle, 3 in that clockwise direction, and then 3 in the counterclockwise direction. Really just trying to focus on moving that hip joint. Once you're done that, guys, we're going to get into that warm up to get ourselves activated. So we're going to start off with 12 alternating Deadbug arm and leg raises. So you're going to get into that Deadbug position, legs straight, and those arms straight, and then you're going to drop your arms and your legs at the same time, then back up again. So what that looks like, this angle here, legs straight, arms straight, dropping our arms down and our legs keeping that core tight, then pulling back in again. 12 reps from there, guys. Then we're going to flip over, get into that arch position. So chest facing the floor, we're going to lift our legs and arms up for 10 reps here. Really feeling this in our upper back and our lower back, especially in those glutes. So lifting up, back down, really trying to engage in that top position there, guys. 10 reps. Once you're done that, you're going to find yourself a box, or if you have a step, and we're going to use that to fire up the glutes and hamstrings there. So I'm going to use this box here. I want you guys to play around with how you position your foot on the box. If you put your heel on the box only, this is going to give you a lot of activation in the hamstring. If you start off with that mid-foot, you'll feel more of the glute and the hamstring together. So it'll be a little bit easier to do that bridge. If you want to make it a little more difficult or isolate that hamstring, start to work towards that heel as you press up. And if you leave that as an anchor point as your heel, guys, you're going to really feel it in your hamstrings. Make sure you slowly progress to that. You're going to alternate reps for 8 reps, so 4 per side there. Then we're going to finish off with 6 deficit push-ups with a slow descent. So I'm going to use some plates to get a little bit deeper in my push-up. If you like, if you have any other objects that are nice and flat that you can even use some chairs. Even if you're like from a standing position, that's perfect. What we want to do is really just get deep into the bottom of that push-up. So nice tight core here, elbows locked out, slow descent all the way down, and then pressing back up again. Again, really trying to focus on keeping those elbows in nice and tight as we do that movement. 2 sets of the 12, 10, and 8, and 6, guys, and then we'll get ready and get into that workout standard. So we'll see you guys next for that.
A single arm deadlift, we like to place that item in between the feet. So your deadlift width is going to be about where you squat. You can go a little bit wider if you want to get into that sumo stance. That's totally fine as well. And what I want you guys to think about here is we're going to think about that hip hinge. So I'm going to think about pushing that hip back and then drawing my hips down after that. You can see my shin is still perpendicular to the ground. So the difference if I was squatting is my shin would be going a little bit forward. I actually want to push that hip back a little bit, get my hip up in the air a little bit, and then I'm going to hold on to my object. Pushing with the legs, opening with that hip, we're going to push that hip back, and then lower the object again with those legs. I want you guys to squeeze your butt at the top, make sure the abs are tight. Sometimes when we squeeze our butt, we tend to overarch. Let's make sure we don't do that. Also notice how my head and neck stay nice and neutral. So when I'm at the bottom of that deadlift, I'm not looking straight, I'm not looking down, but I'm kind of looking just maybe a couple feet out in front of me. I want the top of my head to my tailbone to stay in a nice and straight line. If you guys have the mobility and you find it easier or a different type of challenge perhaps to stick to your normal deadlift position, so feet under that hip, and we're just gonna keep that dumbbell or kettlebell outside the stance. It makes it a little bit trickier, but it might be a good challenge for you today to do that as long as you keep that back nice and flat. That's the most important part.
Those 9 hang power cleans, so again, you guys can use that same weight. If you're going single arm, let's go 9 per side. Or if you have a barbell, just go 9 total as prescribed. For those hang power cleans, guys, we're gonna bend over at the hips, kind of like that bent over row position. From here, we're gonna drive through the legs nice and hard. As we drive through the legs nice and hard, pull through the elbow. We're gonna land in that front rack position. So that front rack position, elbows tall, hips are back. Then we're gonna stand it up from there before we start our next rep. So nice hard drive, elbow through, hips back, and then stand it up. Make sure, guys, it's common. We're gonna be kind of wanting to let our knees kind of go forward and catch with those femurs. We want to push the hips back as we catch it.
So for your kettlebell swings, something new that I want to talk about here, guys, that sometimes maybe we miss, we don't mention it enough, is your knee position. So I will see when the kettlebell's going down, things look awesome. As soon as you're about to shift your weight to go up, sometimes I'll see the knees shift. You may not even notice that. But when your knees shift, your weight is now transferring to mid-foot to the front of the foot. So now I got my lifters on, but you can still see that the weight is off my heels. So now I'm pushing and driving my hips through my quads. So knee position on the rebound is very critical. So when you go back up, don't let your knees scoot forward too quickly, okay? Keep your knees somewhat back to create tension in those hamstrings to get everything out of your hips, but coming from the hamstring opposed to your quad. This is such a common problem that is seen on Olympic lifts, whether it be the jerk, whether it be the clean or snatch. This is your time where you can fix that knee position, which is, for Olympic lift, is that second pull, when you're transitioning from the first to second pull. Now, if that's too complicated, or you're not sure what that means, ignore me, just focus on the knee position on your kettlebell swing spin.
All right, guys, hope you enjoyed that workout. The afterburner today, we're gonna cool down with some stretching, specifically for that hip. We're gonna go into a 90-second lizard stretch, so very similar to kind of like a Spider-Man, a lunge stretch as well. What we're gonna do here, back knee on the floor, front feet kind of perpendicular to the ground. We're going to keep them both laying on the floor so my knee's not coming off the ground. I'm going to think about, in this position, lowering my elbows, getting as close as possible to the ground here, working in that position, trying to open up that hip or even get a little bit deeper of a hamstring stretch on my left side there. We're going to go for 90 seconds on that one side, and then once you're ready, you can switch. Same idea here, keeping that shin vertical, back knee on the floor, getting nice and deep into that position. Make sure you're breathing as you do that. Once you're done that, guys, we're going to go into that Fragging Stretch, which is a little bit more of the adductors and opening up that groin. So getting into a lunge position here, what we're going to do is twist 45, so we're kind of opening up that hip here. Then we're going to reach out in front of us, so in that 45-degree direction, and then push our hip back. And as you do this, you should feel a stretch in that groin area, a little bit in the hamstring, depending on how tight you are. And you want to make sure that knee is not falling inwards, so you're actively pressing or pushing that knee out as you're sitting down into that stretch there. Once you do that, guys, on that one side, switch, same idea, the opposite side. I'm going to get into my lunge first, twist 45, reach out, and push my butt back as much as I can. That will be the stretch for today, guys. Hope you guys enjoy the afterburner, and we'll see you tomorrow for the next workout.